When you see a beautiful, dainty teacup, does it make you think of the artistry that was involved in creating such a beautiful thing? Or does it make you think of what a lovely time you could have sharing a warm pot of tea and some scones with a good friend? Maybe you're like me. It does both. Welcome to Seeing Beauty with Sandy. Today, I'm going to give you a little tour of my teacup collection. Now you can see it here, and a little later we're going to take a closer look. But I can tell you, I didn't set out to buy all these teacups. It started like most collections do, with just one. And it was this little one. I'm an artist, and I wanted to paint a pretty little teacup with a little crack in it. And it took me a little while, but I found it and I painted it. And that just started me wanting to paint teacups. Now this little teacup with the crack in it, I have to say, it is still, after all these, my favorite. And there's a whole story about this little crack cup, and we'll save that for another day. But this one started all of this. As I began to paint more and more teacups, I noticed that when I posed them, I like to arrange them without saucers. So you can imagine how much easier that made it for me to find pretty teacups to paint, because there are some without saucers that have lost their saucers, and sometimes they're a little cheaper to buy, but they're still very beautiful. So that's why you'll see a lot of teacups here that don't have a saucer. Never bothered me a bit. So we are going to take a little tour. Before we do, I always want to remind you, with vintage china, before you use beverages in them or food, these would just be beverages, always test them for lead. Now, if you're starting to collect teacups or teapots in pretty china, I just want to share with you something interesting that I've learned as I have looked and hunted and gone to antique stores. You know, people often have a family resemblance. And I have found that teacups made in different countries sometimes have a resemblance, a certain style, a certain look. So I would encourage you, as you look for your teacups, check the bottom back stamp when it tells you who made it and where it was made. And as you do that, you'll start to learn, and you may get to the point where I am sometimes. Before I pick it up, I know where it was made. I found that the ones that were made in France frequently have beautifully delicate little flowers like this one does here. And the ones in Germany have some of the most beautiful painted roses and other flowers too, as well as Prussia and Bavaria. And the English, I just see a wide variety. So we're going to look at these. Many of these are over 100 years old. So if you see a little spot on them or inside of them, I promise you it's not dirt. It's just their little age spots. You can see here that I've kind of stacked them up in little towers of teacups to make it easier for you to see. Hopefully I won't bump the table or sneeze, and they'll just stay right like they are. So, fasten your seatbelt. Let's start our little tour of teacups here with these three with roses on them. Now these are kind of bigger cups. I don't know why that is. They're really more the size of mustache cups. I wonder if maybe they were kind of everyday cups, and that's why they weren't as dainty. We'll come around here, and more roses. Now, roses are a frequent theme in teacups, and I thought about grouping all the roses together, and then I was like, no, let's have a little bit more variety. This is an English cup. The one down here on the bottom has pansies. This one on the top is Romania. some sweet little blue flowers. We come down here and look, more roses, the moss rose, and then this one. And sometimes there's really a mixture of flowers and just beautiful work with gold details. Here's some little violets here on this one. Another pink one with rose buds. And here's one of our towers. Up we go here. We're gonna start with this wonderful chintz. I just love chintz china. It's so beautiful, so exquisite. And then here's a beautiful, I think, German floral. And we go on up. And then that gives us a chance to look down on the saucers when we come back down. You know, sometimes the saucers are as beautiful as the cups, and then sometimes they're a little plain. On this little tower, we're going to see roses, roses, roses. And then there are the cups that go with those saucers. We go over here to this little tower here, and you see a sweet bouquet at the top of that one. This next one is, I believe, transferware. It's brown and white. And the bottom, that one is gold and white. Those could be really pretty if you were decorating with neutrals. And over here we have violets, more roses, and little forget-me-nots, little blue forget-me-nots. And here's some more little blue forget-me-nots. And then a pretty green. This hexagonal cup, I just think it's gorgeous. To me, it's always reminding me of a pretty Valentine. And here we have more roses. Another pretty one trimmed in gold. And here's a kind of a small little cup and saucer. Over here we have one with fruit. You don't see too much in fruit in some of these teacups. They're usually more floral. And then there's a beautiful black and white one and another black and white one. I've not found a great amount of black and white because I'm always drawn to that. Here's some more pretty roses all the way down. And then we can go to the top and we can look at their saucers. Sometimes it seems the teacups are just sitting in a pretty ring of flowers. Now we're going to go up another little tall tower here, and there's an English teacup at the bottom, another pretty one with roses, and then this pretty delicate French one. And then this one, I believe, was made in Prussia. It's my husband's grandmother's. And again, we'll take a look at the saucers. And then this little tower here has more roses. This striking blue and white one definitely has a matching saucer. That one was made in Russia. And then more roses. And then here's like a little green and white transfer. And this sweet little cup says, "Good boy." And it must have been a child's. And then as we go back here, we see more in different flowers. More little blue forget-me-nots. Roses here. Some more flowers there. A blue and white. And some more flowers. Hope this little tour of teacups gave you a little dose of beauty to brighten your day. I loved showing these teacups to you. They're kind of special to me. And maybe as you looked at the teacups, you thought you might like to invite a friend over and have a lovely time sharing a pot of tea. I hope you'll do that. We all need friends and we all need some friendship time. I want to invite you to subscribe to Seeing Beauty with Sandy and to follow me on Instagram at Sandy_Lynham_Cloud as we continue our hunt for beauty. It never stops because it's all around us. See you next time.